Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shavonna Lynn. In case you don't know, now you do. Go ahead, click that subscribe button and join the family, boo. So, y'all already saw the title, so we're gonna get right into it. This video gonna be a little messy, a little juicy, a little fun. I'm excited for this video because I have lived through a lot of these things, so it's like a testimony. So today's video is gonna be almost like a story time because I'm gonna be telling some slight stories as to how I figured out these things and what made me say that these are signs of a cheater. But I want to give a disclaimer: just because your partner does a couple of these things or maybe one thing from this list does not necessarily automatically mean that they're cheating. When I say that these are signs of a cheater, I mean that they're usually, when paired together, they're usually pretty good telltale signs of a cheater. But that doesn't necessarily mean that your partner is cheating. So I don't want anybody jumping to conclusions or anything like that. You need to first talk to your partner if you feel like they might be cheating. And I'm gonna be looking down a lot because I actually did write some notes down, and yeah, can't miss nothing. Okay, all right. So the first sign, and probably the most obvious sign, and I don't know how I let this one, I shouldn't have let it go. Being protective of their phone. That's literally like the most obvious sign of a cheater. If he's overprotective of his phone, he's probably doing something in there that he don't want you to see. Simple. I have been with a guy who he didn't even want me to look in his phone's direction. I picked up his phone to hand it to him, and he looked like he was finna have a heart attack. So, but then I also have been with a guy who was the complete opposite. Like, he would let me get on his phone whenever I felt like it. I never really went through his phone, but he never hid anything from me. You can also tell a lot by their attitudes towards social media. When I say their attitudes towards social media, if somebody just doesn't get on social media in general as a person, then you would know that. But also, if you're somebody who feels like social media is an important factor in a relationship, then I feel like there should be a compromise. You don't have to post your business for people to know that you're in a relationship. You can post a relationship and let people know that y'all are together, but you don't have to. There's a difference between being private and being sneaky. Okay, there's definitely a difference. So we need to watch out for that. If your partner doesn't want to post you at all, that's probably a problem. Especially if they're an avid social media user. You seeing the problem here? Are you seeing the problem? Okay. Another thing that's also a sign to look out for, but not necessarily involved in social media, is he's hesitant to take pictures. Or, let me not say he. They'll take pictures and they don't want you to post them. They're hiding something. They don't want somebody to see that. Or, stuff like that. Another thing that you could look out for is that he changes dates frequently, or he seems like he's just popping in and out a lot. This is for both men and women. So if she seems like she's sometimey, if y'all are supposed to be doing something and then she always changing the date, he always changing the date. Now, this necessarily, I wouldn't say that this is a good indicator. This is something that should be paired with something else because people are busy, and I understand that. But there's no reason why they should be working late and having these random, I have to go to work at 2-3 o'clock in the morning. Like, come on, y'all. We can't be stupid no more. If they popping in and out, they texting you here and there, or they don't want to text you at certain times of the night, could be a little iffy. Here's a tip for anybody who's in a relationship and you don't necessarily know. You want to know how your partner feels. If anybody is to ask you guys as a couple if y'all are together or not, you let them answer. I made this mistake, and that was where I messed up. So we were actually at like a family outing or something, and his mother asked us if we were together, and he was silent. So I was like, yeah. And the whole time he wasn't even claiming me. So you let your partner say it first. Now, this is something that might not necessarily be a big deal because they can easily lie. But it is important to notice how quick of a response that you get. Because the more hesitant they are, that means they're trying to think of something to say most of the time. Next, I would say be very mindful and listen to what they say and how they answer questions. Usually, when people are lying about things or they don't want to tell you the full out truth, they will overgeneralize the answer. This is manipulation, basically. And this is something that took me a long time to figure out myself, and I actually noticed. But once I put it together, it was up there and stuck there. So pay attention to how they answer questions and how they think about things and what they feel is acceptable and what they defend. So for an example, if your partner, if you guys are having a conversation and, well, let me use my example. So one of his friends was cheating on his girlfriend and we all knew it. It was public knowledge. So he was trying to defend to me why he thought it was okay. He told me that as long as both women are happy, then there shouldn't be a problem. Turns out he was doing the exact same thing. That's why he was defending this. That's why he felt the way he did. Because if someone isn't cheating and they're being faithful in a relationship, then more than 10 times out of 10, they do not agree with cheating and they don't believe in cheating. Therefore, they will not support cheating in a topic of conversation. And you just have to pay attention to the things that they say, things that, like, their positioning on certain topics. That can really tell you a lot without them necessarily telling you directly how they feel. Next thing I feel like is something, this kind of depends on the timing of the relationship and how long y'all have been together. But if he don't want to share his location with you, baby, he probably cheating on you, okay? He don't want you popping up at the other girl's house, or she don't want you popping up at her side nigga house, okay? Now, like I said, this depends on how long y'all have been together and what type of relationship you guys have. But I feel like in a relationship, in a healthy relationship, if one person wants something, then the other person, if they care enough, they will find a way to compromise. And I feel like sharing your location isn't something that's that deep when you're in a relationship with somebody. So if they don't want to share their location with you, that could be a problem. More than likely, that is a very, very good sign. But also when it comes to the location thing, and the location thing and everything else, be careful of how many promises they break. If you ask them to do something that's important to you and they keep telling you, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it, and they never do it. For example, STD testing. If you keep asking them, go get tested, go get tested, go get tested, and they're telling you, yeah, I went, but they can't prove it to you. If somebody went and got tested, if they care about you, you will be a priority. And if they want you, then they're gonna do whatever needs to be done to make sure that you're happy. And for example, like I said with the STD testing, if you're asking your partner, go get tested, I don't feel comfortable with you, and they're telling you, oh yeah, I got tested, but like they're making up excuses as to why they can't provide paperwork and things like that, something is off. Okay, something is very off. Next, this one is obvious, so obvious. This is one that's been a thing since like 1902, and that's if you catch them in a lot of lies. You know when your partner is lying to you. I don't have to say anything. You know when they're lying. Especially when someone who has a history of lying. Yeah. They lie for a reason, baby. Some people are just liars. But they have them reasons as to why they lie, don't they? So that's an obvious one. If you always catching them up in lies, and you know they be lies, because half the time they don't even make sense. So next is pay attention to when they get defensive and why they get defensive. Healthy relationships need strong communication. And if you tell your partner something is bothering you and they get defensive about something that they may be doing that you're telling them is bothering you, that can definitely be a sign as well. So this next one is basically for the guys, but this can be applied to both men and women, and that's pay attention to what they get mad at. So you can tell in a relationship when things are going downhill or someone isn't emotionally there like they used to be, if they no longer get upset over the same things that used to really get under their skin. It means that they don't really care anymore. So if your partner was used to it seems like your partner used to nitpick with you, and now all of a sudden they nonchalant and it's like, it don't even matter. You probably done messed up and let them go, and now they just don't care no more, and they don't know how to break it to you that they don't want you no more. Or with most cheaters, they want you, but they want their cake and eat it too. Keep track of how often they forget to tell you things that you should know. So say they go to a friend's house and they forget to tell you, or they see their ex somewhere at a party that they're at and they forget to tell you, or they have lunch with their ex, or a girl, a female, a guy, anybody, they have lunch with somebody but they forget to tell you. Not telling the whole truth is still lying. That's all I'm gonna say. You know, the truth will always reveal itself. So pay attention when these things do come to the light. Pay attention to how often they don't tell you things like this. Tell you things that can be problematic in the relationship. Be careful about that. And last but not least, this is probably one of the most important things, and I think a lot of women, I think we need to learn to do this as well. Simply listen to your intuition. You have an intuition for a reason. You know when something is not right. You have a gut feeling, and that gut feeling is usually right. I mean, unless your gut is psycho, then, you know, maybe you shouldn't listen, because you could be just assuming. But you know when you have a feeling that something just ain't right. So you need to listen to your intuition, because your intuition is usually correct. And pay attention to how they pay attention to you. If they don't pay attention, if you feel like they could care less, or they don't pay attention to you, or you could be sad right in front of their face and they don't even notice. Okay, Joe, that's fine. These are all signs of a cheater. And that's basically it for this video. I hope this video helped you, and I hope it was informational to you in some way. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.